that we're now going to be doing Good Things Incorporated. Hooray! So Bad Things Incorporated was super pessimistic. I thought for sure that we're now going to be doing Good Things Incorporated. Hooray! It's doing that again. I hate that it does that on the dashboard. It's like, hey, you know what will make your thing better? Hearing your own voice coming out of your dashboard. That, not helpful. So yeah, Bad Things Incorporated, I was super pessimistic. I thought we would fail miserably. We're going to be doing something different. We're going to be going for something I actually don't enjoy playing very much, but hey, this will be interesting. We're going to be Good Things Incorporated, where we look for and incorporate only the best of good things. And good things don't have waste. So we're going to be machines, and we're going to be the best machines. See, we're angels coming to incorporate all the good in the universe. We're good things. And as usual, I'm going to use the UNE. Oh, yeah, we'll do the Roman names. I can pronounce those too. I like names I can pronounce. So what have we got here? Well, the way I see it, we're good things. So we're made only out of 100% pure recycled materials. We are custom made for... No, we're repurposed. We don't let anything get put to waste. And we are just perfect for everything. Custom made for your pleasure. Our cyborg species. We have to have a cyborg. Well, I don't have a thought here. Forgot that we had a cyborg species. Who's going to be our beautiful creators helping us here? Who's the ones who made us? There we go. Nah, we're gonna just call them the makers, because I am super creative. And they will also have Roman names. And they, well, they were obviously very intelligent and natural engineers in order to produce us. But, unfortunately, they were weak and ugly. So, that's sad. But they learn fast. From a continental world called Mict. Nah, I don't like that. Ear and eerie. I like it. And they fly, we fly. It's all avian here. Wonderful work. Catalog index, apparently. Cool.
System diagnostic completed. All systems nominal.
Wonderful. And we're Good Things Incorporated because we incorporate good things. And we should have as our flag something red and gold. Beautiful like that. Ornate and clever. There we are. Perfect. And we will fly in the most friendly looking ships. Humanoid. We have main conduit. Maxima Equuleus, sure. Where, there we are. That's nice and friendly looking. Perfect. So we're going to keep on medium. I want to do this, but we ran out of room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop us down to 12. Advanced AI starts, 3 Fallen Empires, 2 Marauders. We've upped to medium size. Tech cost is normal, habitable normal. I like lots of primitive civilizations because we usually see them come and it's cute. Crisis strength, I still haven't hit the crisis. I'm going to pull this a little bit closer. So we're going to say something like that. Now we're going to hit the crisis. Not Ensign, Grand Admiral. I was on Ensign for a multiplayer game is why it was set there. I have friends in real life who are bad at this game but like to play it. Scaling difficulty on, Grand Admiral. I don't feel like upping the AI aggressiveness yet. I like gateways. We'll get a few more gateways. I like gateways. And here we go. I forgot what type of galaxy we made. Oh well, it will be a surprise. Good Things Incorporated. So we are in a low corner. This is so much bigger. Oh my. I'm slightly intimidated. I feel like I've made a terrible, terrible mistake. Okay. How do I want to do this? Well, I want to start the normal way. I want to get this all built up. Do the makers breed? Is my question. Well, it doesn't. Just because I don't know, it doesn't mean I can't send my science ship out, which I need to do. So here we go. What all do I have here? Assimilating gives unity and society research. Most empires decrease their opinion of me. I have assimilation CB, but it looks like I can still associate and do diplomacy. So good. Good. Here is pretty standard and balanced. The makers do breed. Good. I don't need to build me quite as much. Well, let's not do that. So, yeah, the maker's breeding is good. And let me just review. Habitability and army damage up. Lifespan up. Good. So we build slower, but cheaper. Why don't I bring you over here and swap you about because the makers are good with the science. You need food. No, you don't. You don't need food. Cool. This is going to be helpful. Let's get the speed up. Okay. The makers don't need food. That's good. So, this is not going to be a vassalization game. This is not going to be a Federation game. This is going to be a straight up Assimilation CB game. Lots of threat, lots of people hating me.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
Let's not do that now. And since I've beaten the old game and I'm no longer on the whole win, lose, or timeout, I'm actually going to probably stop at noon, which is 3 hours from now, so I can get my house clean and do some paperwork and all that stuff before my appointment. So this will do wonderfully. Okay, but yay! It's probably also after this session going to be a long hiatus till the next Good Things Incorporated, because I do want to, not today, I'm in a Stellaris frame of mind today, but I think starting
Construction
next time I
complete.
stream, I'm going to want to be focusing myself on building up Anhalt, doing that Europa Universalis stuff. Okay, here we go. Gosh, I feel so poor now. Dropping from 500 ago to this feels poor. I wonder who's going to be next to me. I hope it's someone good, someone who will be beneficial for the Empire. And gosh, we're going to be doing a lot of resettlement, aren't we, to optimize. So we're going to get lots of species. I didn't really do that in the last game, but I could, because I couldn't, but I can here. And it's probably a good idea to do that and to make our various assimilated races go do the thing they're supposed to do. Why, game? I already have a bad feeling about how this game is going to go if that's what we see right
Construction
there.
complete.
Is it even worth me coming over here to grab? On the one hand, it's 2 more minerals, 3 more energy. On the other hand, 75 influence. I don't know if it's worthwhile. I'll spend my minerals to get a couple of good things on the go. And we'll clear out those strip mines. No, we won't. Clear out one of the strip mines. I forgot. And we'll stop building you. I forgot we need to get that second science ship on the go. That's important. We've got north to explore up this way. We got south to explore down this way, so we do want to get a second science ship to start getting a sense of our surroundings. Everyone's bigger than us, everyone's stronger than us, everyone's got bonuses out the wazoo. No way this is going to go badly, right? No way at all.
Construction complete.
Okay. What do we have as far as?
Planetary alert. Tile blocker expunged.
Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to recruit a better physicist, and then I'm going to send this leader experience game guy out exploring. And you're gonna head down this way. I mean, a big part of what's going on here is I want to secure a sense of where my natural borders are going to be. It's probably going to be someone around here and someone down here, and they're probably going to squeeze me into this sort of region, and I want to claim as much as I can myself so that I can have a solid base to work with, since they're going to be getting bonuses scaling up constantly. I don't think I need to start focusing on war. Do I? Am I going to be someone to be contained? I don't think so. So I think I'll put myself towards a slightly economic start. There's a planet. We can colonize planets. And hey, the makers can come here too. Good. We can send the makers to colonize, and we can build some of us. Boof, boof, boof.
System survey complete.
There we are. Bit of a nice slow start. Guess we may as well go down towards Millie. We've got Nugan, after all. It has a planet. The size 18 continental world is probably going to be worth working on. Excellent. Yeah, this is going to be a fine place to drop some makers and build up. I mean, I'd like it if we had better stuff than this food, but we don't need food, so we can do whatever we want with those tiles. They're essentially empty. Good. Good, good, good.
Planetary alert. Tile blocker expunged.
Excellent. That'll give us somewhere for
Construction
makers
complete.
to grow. We're gonna have to chill for a couple months before we can claim that. It's fine. It's not fine. Everything's terrible. We have nothing. And this is just a galaxy full of things that are going to hate us.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
You wanted to see a counter federation. I'm not going to be surprised to see a big counter federation in this game. Yeah, we're gold, and before this entire place is like blue. And we have to figure out a way to fight the entire galaxy at once all the time. So what are we going to need here? Synchronicity is nice. Discovery is nice. Supremacy is going to be useful. I don't care much about expansion. Ooh, domination's a waste in this game. Prosperity is nice. Versatility is kind of a waste in this game. I am feeling opening with Discovery. Yeah, I will be very lucky if I can find another Gestalt consciousness. But no, in before a galaxy full of spiritualists. I can smell that coming. I can smell some wretched, horrid stench. Might be me. It's like 85 out, and I still have not turned on my air conditioner because... Rawr. I can take it. But yeah, it's a thing. It's pushing bit by bit. And I have a sense that that's how it's going to be. Like, in the last game, everyone around me was a xenophobe. But they all matched me on materialists, so it wasn't very hard to get them all to federate with me. And then a lot of them became xenophiles over the course of the game.
Variable detected.
In this case, though, I would not be surprised if there's a whole bunch of spiritualists that just hate me outright. Especially my immediate neighbors, I imagine, are going to be spiritualists.
Construction complete.
Okay, so that's done and ready. I don't have any minerals to build anything around here. Get ready to claim some minerals. Nugan is okay. Okay. Alpha aliens. What are we looking at here? Oh, it's just some Tianki. No, are they worth a 10-month delay on a biolab? Yeah, they're kind of worth that. Clear it out. Get some passive bonuses. I think Nugan's going to be our next spot we head to because while I like the energy, I don't like the energy right now. And this is going to be kind of a natural area to claim. Do that sort of thing. Get around this stuff. And then head out. Young man, learn more about the galaxy. We'll see what the hyperlane network down here looks like before we go decide. Because if this is like some closed off area, I'll have you fill it out and then go out. Okay.
System survey complete.
New skills for our scientist. Which scientist? This guy up here. He's an expert in military theory somehow.
Construction complete.
It's a little silly.
Technological acquisition successful.
Wonderful. We've got physics labs. Let's get better power plants. We're going to need those. Love it. I love it. I am flying around in space and I am now an expert on military theory. How? Why? Because you don't become an expert on military theory sitting in an armchair. If you do, you become that one dude that everyone confuses with Clausewitz. The guy who's all, you have to take your wars of attrition and kill them all. Ah ha ha ha. That was not Clausewitz. That was this other dude. Starts with an L. Can't remember his name. Clausewitz was like, you know, you kind of have to win the hearts and the minds. One dude, armchair military theorist. Other dude,
Anomalous
soldier.
Surface variable detected.
Soldier's the one who had the right idea of it. It's like, I know what I'm doing. I've been fighting for years. You don't win wars by killing the other dude. You win wars by making the other dude's people like you. And killing the other dude. Because you kind of have to do some of that. As evidenced by the fact that this is going to be a much harder game than the last one. Because in the last game, it was really a matter of making people like us build. smack people who didn't like us enough that they started to like us. And go. In this game, they're never going to like us. We're going to have to kill them. And that murder is going to cause us troubles. It is going to cause us troubles. Oh, we can't colonize with them. Really? I can't colonize with them? They mowed the lawn yesterday and they're mowing it again. They mow the lawn like every 2 days.
Situation log.
There's nothing I can do about it. We just kind of have to wait for them to go. Yeah, that's what I was expecting, Omnimek, is that I was going to not get anything.
Complete.
I was quiet for a moment because they were right there and I couldn't even think. In fact, the dude who was mowing the lawn like stopped and looked in my window because you can see my computer from there. I'm like, hi, I'm streaming and you mow the lawn every other day. Yeah, everyone's gonna hate us. We're gonna just have to roll through, and
Construction complete.
they'll see the happy. They'll see the fun of it eventually. They'll understand. They'll understand when they're inside of us, or we're. Are they inside of us because we've conquered their empire, or are we inside of them because we've stuck our little machine bits into their brains to make them go beep bop, beep boop? Everyone's inside of everyone else. That's how it works. I normally go for 2. On rings and spirals, I go for 2. For if I'm in a elliptical, I go for 3 or 4 scientists, because at the end of the day, it's really, you need 1 per direction. So here it looks like really we just got the 2 directions. So there's not much point in pushing too fast. I might grab another one to just fill out anomalies. That's a good idea. A 3rd scientist who's just, their job's going to be to do all the anomalies everyone else skips. Brilliant. Which of course means you sit here last and wait longer. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really felt that scientists are as important in 2.0. How many AI in this game? I turned it down from 18 advanced starts to 15 advanced starts so that the Fallen Empires might actually start here.
Construction complete.
So, like, I like to have a crowded galaxy. So the last couple of games I've done, it wasn't 18 because I was on small map, but I did the max number of AIs all advanced, and now I'm like, we're gonna chill it out a little bit. Anyone here that matters? No. Fine, we'll just grab this random dude. Have fun. Your job is to start, or excuse me, you're gonna research this anomaly first. And you're just gonna go through and do the anomalies that we've missed. Yeah, And last game around, there were at least 5 places where a Fallen Empire could have fit that I saw over the course of the game. I'm like, oh, Fallen Empire could be here, Fallen Empire could be there. Like, if I'm entirely honest with you, I would rather a Marauder get merged out than a Fallen Empire, because the War in Heaven is more interesting than the Great Khan. The Great Khan's just like, yawn here, let me camp, and the Khan will run into me a few times, and then we have a Khanate successor state. Huzzah! The War in Heaven, though, is just like, everyone's fucked. Pick a side, don't pick a side, you're screwed. And I like that more. That's a more enjoyable situation. That's something that gets you nice and ready to scream in rage at your front. Where am I going next? Zanbor. Zanbor, baby, I love you. Look at that. Oh, Menak's looking pretty nice too, but it's only our immediate surroundings that aren't great. Though Asterion's good. And Yanin's not bad. And okay, to be fair, it's not terrible. I've just been spoiled by the last game. Gateway in Havonshire. Game. I love gateways. They're quite late when you make use of them, but it's just wonderful. That's nice. But again, I don't like mods as much, because then if something goes wrong, can I really complain? Because it could be a mod thing. I feel like mods are there when you've exhausted the potential of the game. And I don't feel I have really slaughtered the potential of Stellaris until I'm comfortable playing on Grand Admiral. And I'm not comfortable yet at all. We'll continue to kind of go a more focused for us sort of way. Like, to be fair, I have loads of mods for Stellaris. And I've been like, you know, I've been playing modded Stellaris so much, I don't know what the vanilla's like. I need to back off. Although, granted, most of the mods are like, hi, I want to look like this. Oh, this is cool art. Let me put it in here. So, I need to, you know, live with it. Get used to
anomalous surface variable
Stellaris,
detected.
as it would be. You can leave that be. We've got a dude to come around after you and clean it up.
Technological acquisition successful.
There you go. Let's get... This is tough. Yeah, we'll do survey. We'll do faster surveying. That's gonna be fine. There's our biolab. Spare parts depot is a grand idea.
Construction complete.
Wonderful. Are what I want. And you are... I didn't even build you, did I? I just skipped it entirely. I'm such an idiot. The Millie wasn't there. That was from an anomaly. So we have some stuff to go back and fix. We need to clear out you some more. Clear you guys. That's fine.
Technological acquisition successful.
Nice. Some power plants. Faster research speed. We're not at our automate phase yet. Once I get a sense of where my borders are locked down, which I still expect to be like
Anomalous surface
there
variable detected.
and there, then we'll be good. But who knows? Maybe this will be like, gosh, a game I had about a year ago where there was nothing connecting me back into the center until down here. And there was this big, like, choke point here with a Leviathan. All of everyone in the galaxy. Another choke point with a Leviathan. Empty space full of primitive civilizations. Me. Like, that game, I didn't meet anyone for the first, like, until, like, 2350. And I punched through a Leviathan. And it was like, oh, gosh. Leave me for now. Bunker bot. Scrap for now. Boost our thing. We'll let it continue its mysterious calculations. I'm sure it's fine. There's no way I have to worry about anything, right? Right. What are you doing? No, no. Stop. There is somebody whose job it is to do that, you idiot. Did I order you to do that? I probably did. How and why did I do that? There you go. And then you're gonna probably come down here and do that, but we'll see where we are. Yeah, that finding empires is great. But yeah, it's also nice when the game, you know, gives you choke points and just hands you half the galaxy with no one in it, and it's not until after you've consumed half the galaxy that you punch through a choke point and go, oh, hey, you're people.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
That's always fun times. But yeah, I was playing a devouring swarm in that game, and I just got half the galaxy before I met everyone. And everyone, fallen empires and everything, was crammed into half the galaxy.
Construction complete.
Punch a hole through it, and all of a sudden, bam, everyone becomes a federation. Because, oh no, monsters! Or something like that. It was funny. It was funny. Thank you for getting in the way of my clicks. Sometimes
System survey complete.
the game. I was the endgame crisis. No, I was incredibly backward and horrible. They steamrolled me. I kill an ether drake and then I get just whammed by everyone. That was back in like 1.8 or something. It was like right when hive minds came out and devouring swarms were a thing. It was my first game after that, and it was a mess. I got my ass handed to me. And, you know, there wasn't even increased difficulties at the time. It was just what it was. I'd like you to get that going. Please and thank you.
System survey complete.
So certainly not enough resources.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
So there's not much to say. We've got the early game going on. I have more to spend minerals on than I have minerals to spend. Kind of want to focus on these space things for now, and maybe getting somebody out to go push to Nugan. In fact, I'd rather claim these systems than develop these. Well, no, I want Millie. Yeah, and I need the energy. Okay. We're gonna build the mining station in Nugan. And we're gonna come down here and get that fella. Then we're gonna go to Inan. And as for you, we're gonna clear that so that we can throw you over there. And we are going to refrain from constructing ourselves for a while, since the makers breed. Their makers don't cost minerals. Good God, this is like... Those diplomatic penalties had best be quite intense, or else this is a little imbalanced. Being able to breed and live on any planet. Or do the makers still have to live on continental worlds? You have continental preference. But do they really have continental preference? Habitability plus 20%. So, yeah, they can live on anything.
System survey complete.
Yeah, that is something that you can do. I did throw the resource reprocessor up there to get energy, but I don't know. I feel that long term having these power plants is going to be very nice. I'm okay with a slightly slower start, especially on something like this. Let's not do you. It's not actually any difference, but I want to hit you up instead. See, it looks like Omnimech here in the chat knows this game better than I do. But yeah, I'm feeling quite like there's a bit of a balance thing coming on here. Because the robot empires have such a strength in being able to just colonize anything, and it's offset by you not being able to build. But these fellas being able to breed and having all those benefits, it's going to be great. Ah, you're an optimization freak. I can optimize. I'm trained to optimize, but at the same time, I don't wanna. It's hard work. I wanna have fun. I wanna think and dream and do the large-scale strategizing. You're going to be nice, and I did want you to grow over here, so would you kindly do that? Please and thank you. I mean, optimization is important, and you do need to do some of it sometimes, especially on these higher difficulties, but it's not about being the best in my mind. It's about having a theme and rolling with it. Although we did abandon Bad Things Incorporated's theme towards the end because we just had too much money. We had so much money. It worked out amazingly well. Good Things Incorporated, though, I feel like they're going to have a much harder time of it.
System survey complete.
Sure. Okay. I'm not quite ready to clear you out yet, but that's fine.
Technological acquisition successful.
That is true. Having all the different varieties on demand. That is something I like to do, is kind of streamline here and wait on my expansion until I can get all the different types pre-prepared so I can plot them out and advance them. I don't know if I'm going to do that this game. I don't know if it's going to behoove me to do so, especially as the game goes on and I start incorporating more people into my empire. I may be able to shuffle around cyborgs. We'll see. So many planets. So little time. Yeah, you're also kind of a dead end, so we'll do this to finish off this top area and then keep going. Okay. This would be a great choke point if I needed it. I like these places where there's lots of ways to come in, but only one way to leave. Down this way, we have a similar thing. So see, it's like I was just saying a moment ago, we only really have two directions for the ships to go. So we only really need the two. But having this third one to just clean up all of the anomalies as they show is going to help us, I think. Be able to get all of the benefits of the anomalies without having to slow down the exploration. I can't believe I didn't think about that until now. Just having a dedicated anomaly guy. Well, that's unfortunate. I'll hit you there. You there.
System survey complete.
You're building your starbase, so you're fine. I don't know if we're going to claim you yet or if we're going to push onward. Uchabea, Vegmore. Hello, dropped frames. Stinking freedom internet. Is this net neutrality? I doubt it. I doubt their companies are going to be abusing that this soon. It is what it is. As a programmer, I can see how that could become potentially a nightmare, letting it not do that. So the way I see it is you have your most likely you have your anomaly. And that anomaly is going to have, you know, the reference to the planet. It'll have the reference to whatever it is that's doing the, like, there's going to be a reference to the actual anomaly and its event chain and such. There's going to be, you know, the reference to the planet, and then there's going to be the flag that marks it as having been scanned or not. And then you just have to have a list of references to these little objects in your anomaly list, whether or not it's flagged. But on the other hand, you could also have a list of empires that have discovered and a list of empires that have flagged an anomaly attached to it. And that would potentially, provide the ability for, first person discovers the anomaly, it gets generated, and now, hey, here's everyone who's found it and everyone who hasn't. But I can also see major slowdown on calculations and that, because you're going to be cycling through an additional list.
Complete.
So that just can't bother me, because that's nice, but on the other hand, implementing it's going to be a pain. Unlike the war system, where
System survey.
Yeah, it's a pain, but it's kind of also, this is a war game. It's a grand strategy game. It's a 4X game. At their heart, they're all war games. You need war to work in a war game. It's just how it is. And, the whole anomalies and exploration is only like, a quarter to a third of the game. You hit the point where exploration's not really relevant anymore fairly quickly. I mean, it still is a thing you can do for quite some time, but you hit a point relatively quickly. I feel around
successful.
250, 2275, depending on the size of the details of your particular game. You hit a point where your exploration has kind of run out because you're getting boxed in. And you can still go through places and explore, like, details and holes, but exploration's lessening in value at that point. And as the political game becomes more and more important. So it feels, when they do all this stuff focusing on cool stuff to explore, while letting the war system continue to be broken, exploitable, boring, frustrating, all the other negative adjectives, that they're taking, what really is, 3/4 of the game and blowing it off for 1/4 of the game.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
I don't want pirates here, so go do that. I don't know. I'm just being a whiny kid. Wabble, rabble, rabble. I would like to colonize these worlds. Would also like to expand a little more rapidly, so let's go ahead and get a second construction ship. We'll have one guy up here, one guy down here. There's a lot of stuff to get. It'll frustrate me that I'm not going to be able to afford it, but let's do it. Just look at how effectively linear this is. We're really going to get squished in between two empires with no way out. It's going to happen. Fortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've already hit our core world count. We're probably going to have a couple more that we can grab. That's nice.
System survey complete.
So you're ready there. Go grab Havenshire. So we're looking at, and there's one nebula near us. And I don't think it's going to be hours. I do believe we're going to be seeing someone around here. If I can get into this nebula up here, I'm going to be surprised. So let's see. What are we going to be getting here? We're going to be getting some of you, some of you, some of you. Maybe later.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
Leave it be. We've got our anomaly, dude. Yeah, they could do that, but again, that feels like they're really just kind of
complete.
Hacking up the game to make the thing, to make a minority of the game more interesting rather than addressing the big glaring problem. Like, I love all the exploration stuff. I haven't hit the L gates yet. I haven't actually encountered the result because I haven't had the L gate in my system. In the last couple of games, they've always been in ally systems. But, you know, I really do feel that the biggest problem they have is warfare. And they need to make warfare work. Oh no, the L gate leads to some area of space you can explore with some space monsters. That's kind of what I was expecting it would do. It's not really a spoiler. This is not a game I care about spoilers for. It's really not. There's some games out there that I would murder you if you gave me spoilers for, but Stellaris is not one. I liked pre-1.9's war system better. I like everything post 1.9. Like, everything 2.0 onward, I like more. I liked 1.9's war better. It was still not a good war system. It was a boring, dull, clunky, yawn-full war system. Which, for a grand strategy game, being as it is essentially a war game, not a great thing to be having is a mediocre war system.
Technological acquisition
I mean,
successful.
when 2.0 was coming out, I was really upset because I played 1.x almost exclusively wormhole after I tried everything.
Complete.
Like, I tried everything, and I'm like, I like wormholes. So I played wormhole. That was my thing. That was my jam. Well, again, I really think that at the end, at the heart of the problem here, is that we have something that is trying to hybridize Crusader Kings and kind of a Europa Universalis thing. What we need at the end of the day is to really either buy into Casus Belli as the end and the end and the end, make the Casus Bellis tight, restrictive, and live with it, or we need to see something where at the end of the war you have a toggling of these are the systems I'm taking, those are the systems you want, you know, something where there's a peace deal established. I think the later system would work more with Stellaris. It would be easier to construct. Gosh darn it, Asteron. Where is Asteron? Over there. Okay, I don't care much about you. Have fun. But at the end of the day, the big thing is war exhaustion is stupid. That's the first thing they need to fix is, I don't know. And they did fix it. They fixed it and they went, well, we don't like it. And then they undid it. Like, okay.
Anomalous surface variable.
You had a problem,
detected.
you fixed it, and then you backpedaled your fix because reasons that were never really explained.
Alert. Hostile fleet assets detected.
You're going to Erie? Good. That's exactly where I want you to go.
Alert. Station engaged.
Get out of there. Don't get involved in this fight. The station can handle it. I want you to go away, run away, and go to Asteron instead. But yeah, so back to the topic on hand. I want to see addressed, number one, that in warfare and resolution of warfare, you don't have player agency. That's the big thing that bothers me, is that you don't have player agency beyond the establishment of claims, which, depending on the type of war and what allies you have, could become negligible. So I'd like something where I can say, okay, there's this claim going on here that my ally has, but we've got a liberation war. I don't want to give my ally this claim in this war, and if he doesn't want to join in, fine, but I don't want to give him his claim here. This is not a war about stealing territory. Or the big thing that pisses me off is a vassalization. And I think that if you'd go into my VODs, it hasn't been deleted by Twitch yet, but my first Grand Admiral game, I'm like, I'm going to go vassalize. And
Hostile stationary asset engaged.
military vassalization is such a nightmare. It's like you have to ask them to be your vassal first, which has a load of restrictions. Then you need to kick their ass when they say no.
Planetary
But if
alert.
they're at war,
Tile blocker
well, you
expunged.
can't ask them, so you can't kick their ass and force them to be your pet. It's very frustrating. Pew, pew, pew. I mean, yeah. Like, as far as vassalization goes, I want to
Anomalous
be like,
surface variable
yeah,
detected.
your thing says you're equivalent. Like, in the last game, you saw it. There were a bunch of people where it said equivalent, but you look down there, and they have this massive naval capacity they're not using. They have this superior naval capacity, but their fleet size is piss, their technology is piss. And you look at it and go, they're not equivalent. They are inferior, inferior, inferior. I would not even be able to attempt to vassalize such a person in Stellaris right now, because I would not be able to ask them to be my vassal, so I could not get the casus belli. So, number one, I need to get the correct to vassalize people now. Number one, I need to have the correct tradition. Number two, the game needs to think I'm strong enough to whip them into shape. Doesn't matter if I am or not, the game has to think it. And we've all... The game doesn't have the slightest clue of what equivalent means, what inferior means. The game doesn't
System survey
understand
complete.
in any meaningful sense. And then you have to fight the war. And so what you end up doing is you take one method of play and you lock it behind so many barriers that it's effectively not possible to play that way. And we're really gonna lose that fight. Ugh. How on earth were we losing? We're gonna lose that fight. That's just not acceptable. I ranted so much I forgot this guy's got work he's supposed to be doing. So, solutions. I had a solution yesterday. I was laying in bed before sleep thinking about that. Yeah, that's one thing. Naval capacity. Number two, Like, things I don't like, the calculation for power calculation. The fact that causes bellies besides... most of the causes bellies, actually, I'm okay with how they're set up. But vassalization in particular, the fact that it's locked behind clicking a button on the diplomacy screen first so that they say no, it bothers me because that has so many restrictions. I can rant slower. Yeah. Yeah, the old system was better. I think it's better to do it at the end than at the start of the war, because situations change over the course of a war. They really do. Is that why I lost? Did they come... That might be why I lost. I should probably actually build my fleet up now. Yeah. But again, tradition locking vassals isn't bad if it... When you unlocked it, you could just declare the wars and win or lose. But you can't. Oh well. The game I played, kind of the first game I started streaming again, when I made the Great Gobbo Trash Heap, I did a vassal game. And I did not get my vassals by declaring war for vassals. I got my vassals by declaring war for ideology. Gave people the attitudinal adjustment and then said, "You're a protectorate now. Welcome. Bow." But yes, solutions. We were thinking solutions. I think the first thing we really need to do is this needs a hybrid war exhaustion and war score system. That was something that you have in Europa. It's something that you sort of have in Hearts of Iron, although the war exhaustion's a little hidden behind kind of the rebellion troubles that you get. Something you have in Victoria. Like, it's something that you have in games because it models the disconnect that exists between victory in a war and the exhaustion of a population, while still making the exhaustion of a population important. After all, exhaustion of a population is why the U.S. has lost its recent wars. It's why the U.S. won the Revolutionary War. At the end of the day, and this I think is kind of what they're trying to capture with their war exhaustion idea, is that in real war, the loser is the one whose population isn't willing to put up with this bullshit anymore.
Technological acquisition.
Like, there was a great war between Napoleon and Spain. I forget the exact years. It was during Napoleon's time, obviously. And Napoleon, in a word, raffle-stomped Spain. But Spain, the population of Spain was like, no you don't. And pretty much everyone in Spain picked up a gun and became a bandit. That's an exaggeration, but the people of Spain, even fully occupied, were like, nope, we aren't tolerating this shit. And
situation log.
France, the French population was like, we're done, before the Spanish said we're done. So, in that sense, France had 100% war score, and Spain was like, F you know. And like in a Europa Universalis, France would have won the war, there would have been rebellions all over Spain, and Spain would have seceded. Stellaris can't represent this very well. But the hybrid system, where war exhaustion gives you penalties, makes you as a player not want to keep pushing the war. Makes you as a player want to choose to end the war sooner. That's how war exhaustion should operate, in my less than humble opinion. As something that burdens you as the player rather than burdens the mechanics of the kind of the background. And then the war score, you get your war score. Having that then become leverage in a peace deal is good. So that at the end of the day, you can go through and say, okay, we have these claims, we declared war for these claims, but now, everything is kind of terrible. We're willing to let go with just Menok, even though we had claims on this entire thing. Yeah, they're not... Rebellions and arrest are nothing here, which, to be fair, and... Okay, this may not be fair, actually.
Construction complete.
I am very much a aficionado of guerrilla warfare and terrorism throughout history. Like, it's my jam. I really, really enjoy that, and none of the games, with the possible exception of Crusader Kings, do rebellion or unrest well. They just don't.
Construction complete.
And it's hard to do a rebellion and unrest well, in a way that models the factors that actually come into play and isn't horrendously, hellishly suffering for the player. One of the best examples I can think of off the top of my head is not a computer game at all. It's a board game series. There's this series called the COIN, standing for Counterinsurgency series, by... Oh, whoa. Something with a timer here. I missed it. What's going on here? Oh, it's not a timer. Never mind. We just have a couple of things to do. It's a series of board games made by a CIA operative who
Technological acquisitions
essentially adapting some exercises he uses to help train people in handling counterinsurgencies and insurgent operations. And what happens there is
system survey complete.
your insurgents have units, and they travel around sort of invisible, quote unquote. In the game, they've got these little wooden cylinders. One side's shiny, one side isn't. You put shiny side down, and they're running around invisible. Face the shiny side up, and then they are known to be operating in an area.
Augmentations completed.
And the combat of the rebellion is essentially, for the counter-rebellion person, essentially to go through and go, where are they, and kill them without pissing off the population too much. And the idea for the people in the rebellion is to piss off the population enough that they revolt and everything's terrible. And pretty much those games, I love them. Everything's terrible for everyone all the time. I would really love a grand strategy game that was centered around kind of the mechanics that those board games use. You'd have to tweak them a little bit because those board games are focused in on, it's turn-based and you move individual units that have this abstract representation.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
But you can do it. Also. Holy cow, there's a lot back there. Why don't, before you go off there, you do some research here, and then there's some anomalies to do in these systems. And then you can come do these. So much anomalies. But yeah, I keep getting distracted off of Stellaris and fixing the war system. 3 parts. Number 1, clarify casus belli in and their consequences in game. Number 2, use war score as an intuitive and centralized aspect for how well or poorly you're doing in a war, with war exhaustion as a burden upon your empire for failing to keep it under control. With no automatic your war ends nonsense. Just as your people are getting exhausted and pissed off, it sucks. That's how it should be. And number 3, at the end of the war, when you submit your peace, have flexibility in how you set up the deal, okay? Don't be forced to take everything or nothing or a status quo. Okay? if you're doing a liberation war or an ideology war, you should not be limited to convert them and take all the claims, or take occupied claims, or give up. It should be, hey, how about we don't take any of our claims on you? We'll be nice. We'll leave you everything we've taken. And all you have to do is, give up your government correctly. That's, a sensible bit. And it's a little bit of work. I understand. I'm a programmer. I've done this. You're going to have to create a few extra forms to pop up to convey this information. You'll need to have a few more AI routines to evaluate. And the AI is going to be dumb and exploitable because AI is dumb and exploitable. But that's really something that needs to be there. There's a reason that all of the other games that Paradox has essentially do something like this. Except Hearts of Iron, which is its own little beast off in a corner. And I get the sense that they're kind of slightly inspired by Hearts of Iron here. Because Hearts of Iron, it isn't a war exhaustion thing as much as, they have the national unity. And when you take up land, it destroys national unity. And when you have enough of it, the nation collapses and you just get to divide it up. That's a cool thing. And it could work. But the important thing is it's not war exhaustion. It's not this invisible clock ticking up over time. You can very readily see the unity decrease as you see your territory get consumed by the enemy, or the enemy's territory get consumed by you. So there's a very active feeling. Claim decay is a thing too, yeah. But that doesn't bother me quite as much. I mean, claims decaying in Europa Universalis is just busy work. It really is. But at the end of the day, I think the big failure is war exhaustion is not something that it feels... My ships aren't fighting the pirates. That's right, I forgot. Also, we should get somebody... How about you? Trappist unclaimed? Yay, Trappist. I like Trappist. On the other hand, I could have left these pirates alone and then they wouldn't have respawned. Oh well. But thank you for that catch. I was ranting. I forgot I didn't set them to be aggro.
Construction complete.
That would have been embarrassing. It's fine. Where was I? So yeah, that's just the problem on war exhaustion, though, is the way it ticks up. You don't really have agency in it coming up or down. It never goes down, which is having no way to reduce it is very, very, very frustrating, especially if you are moments from victory when it clicks and you're like, I have a year to make peace, but it's going to take me a year and a half to bombard down and invade the one planet I need to do to win this. That's horrible. So there should be some way to, reverse it. But at the end, it just kind of ticks up. I mean, yeah, it makes sense, and it is tied to your actions. You attack, you lose fleets, they lose fleets, that ticks up war exhaustion. But also, if you just sit still, it ticks up over time. And, I don't know, player agency, to me, is at the core of
Anomalous surface variable detected.
If your player agency is not quite as... If you don't have a agency quite as much, Phase 2 of mowing the lawn for every other day. I think the lawn mowing company is scamming the apartment complex. I really do. And it makes it tough to commentate. Buzz, 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 buzz. Words getting stolen from me by the buzz of a lawnmower. What was I saying? Yeah. And it doesn't have to necessarily be Europa Universalis' way. Like, if you if you had war exhaustion go up when your stuff was occupied, and then start going down when you don't have anything occupied, or sufficient time passes without you losing ships in battle, that could be okay. But there's just, you don't get a feeling of agency with war exhaustion. You feel you either have to be strong enough to conquer everything before war exhaustion comes up, or you just lose. And to be fair, as war exhaustion has gotten better. The tweaks they've done to war exhaustion have made it less of a nightmare. But it's still rather terrible. And it really does not feel like it should be the determiner of if you're winning or losing the war. It should be a determiner of if you are suffering for pushing the war forward more. Which they did try. They did that. If you recall, they had the whole war exhaustion cripples your economy thing, and when it hits a point, and I thought that they balanced that badly. It would be better to incrementally increase the strain on your economy from war exhaustion from the beginning than just have it all be, raw, you're at 100%, everything's terrible. I almost felt like they were being sarcastic with the way they implemented that, to go, see, your recommendations are stupid, look how bad this is, when I just felt like they were purposefully mispresenting it. But in any case, to be honest, that didn't work. But they did try it, and you could see the ideas that you needed operating kind of behind the scenes there. You could see the beginnings of this potentiality. Also, you didn't finish surveying Deatheris. You need to finish surveying Deatheris, you moron. What's wrong with you, Naistidius? Naistidius? Or, based on your intelligence here, where are you? Nias. There we go. Now get back there, Biggest Dickus, and finish surveying your system. And I don't just want EU foreign space. It sounds like that, but it's more, when you've done games before, you should not be afraid to cannibalize yourself, to take things that you know work and use them. And you shouldn't strawman other people's recommendations. Which, oh gosh, their attempt to implement war exhaustion as a thing that detriments your empire sure felt like they were strawmanning the recommendation of, hey, war exhaustion should be painful but not stop things, by just making it a thing that, hey, you're at 100%, boom, you're in suffering. No. You know, if you're at 10% war exhaustion, hey, you're at 10% suffering. Hey, you're at 100% war exhaustion, you're at 100% suffering. You know, let it tick up over time so that you feel the pressure of a war and you want to fight a short, localized war. Or you want to become so badass that you can have a great galactic space battle. Or if you get drawn into a long, drawn-out, decades-long intergalactic war, you're like, crap, I'm stuck in a long, drawn-out, decades-long intergalactic war.
Complete.
That's all stuff that you feel like you should be able to... those are feelings that you lose in this system.
Construction complete.
War is just like a chore you have to do right now, and I don't like that. War should not be a chore in a war game.
Situation log adjusted.
I'm just a bitter old kid. Don't listen to me. Or do listen to me. It'll make me feel very happy if you listen to me. Oh no, you're not the one I want to go there. I'm sorry. I thought you were the other guy. Do that. And if they want to avoid this idea of war score and end of war peace deals, and they want it to be casus belli focused, then look back to Crusader Kings, where casus belli were very concrete, they were very strictly defined, and you knew when you clicked the button what you were getting into. Like, for example, that war that we just did in Bad Things Incorporated that won us the game. That war, the Khanate had all those claims. I had no way of seeing the Khanate's claims. I had no way of knowing. As far as I'm aware, I had no way of knowing what claims they had prior to that war starting. And even if I did have a way, the fact that it's not clear, that there's no way that I can't see when I look at the war screen what claims they have, that it's hidden away somewhere, that's a sign of it being bad. So I'm doing a war for liberation. Not liberation, for ideology. I want to see, when I click that button, oh hey, here is a total list of all of the systems that other people are going to want. If it's going to be a game, if it's going to be a situation where I have to decide at the beginning of the war what I'm pushing for, I want to know what all the options are and say yes or no. Hello, lawnmower. It's coming back. I swear they mow the lawn twice a week. They have to do it, and it's partly my trouble. I've got my window open so I can have this nice breeze instead of turning on an air conditioner and paying money that I'm already paying because I have a default expense with the power company. So it really actually wouldn't cost any more money to turn my air conditioner on and close my window, but it's the principle of the thing. But yeah, when it comes to those claims, if I could have seen in that war and say, okay, no, Khanate, we are not pressing these claims in this war, and just say no, we're not doing that at this time, then I would have had the ability. I would have had
construction complete.
Word. I was just saying the word too. It starts with an A. I hate how bad I am with words. Not autonomy, not authority, not action. It's close to action.
Technological acquisition.
It would have been within my power to say yes or no to fighting that war. And it would have been in my power to say yes or no to pushing those claims. And I would expect that the Khanate might say, I'm going to vote no for this war because I don't get what I want out of it. And that would be a clever, good thing. But I would like to know, before I click declare war, that my allies in a federation have claims on the war target that I'm going to need to take. In that particular war, it wasn't a very big deal because all the stuff he wanted to take was stuff I would have to take anyway in order to win. But in the previous game, I had an attempt to vassalize someone. I had to vassalize one guy. They had an ally who was big and powerful, but could not get into my territory or my ally's territory because there were these big honkin' defensive structures that he just couldn't get through. Me and my ally, we could not face off against his friend. We could keep him locked down.
System survey complete.
So I'm doing this war to subjugate this other dude. And my ally, it turns out, has claims on his ally. So we swing, we drop down. I've got my invasion rolling. And then I realize, wait, I'm at -5. I conquer all of his stuff, and I'm at -500 for unsecured claims. Because my ally has all these claims down in the corner that are keeping me from being able to win. And I'm like, really? If I'd known beforehand, I wouldn't have brought the ally into the war. I brought the ally in the war because I'm like, oh, well, he can harass him, and then we can squeeze in together at the back and get any extra that we may need. But the ally had claims that made the war impossible to win. Very frustrating. So that's really that is the core of my frustration with the current war system as it stands. It's not even as much the war exhaustion as it is claims are not clear. And it should be clear. It should be clear prior to beginning a war what you and your allies are going to want out of it. So that you can, and you should have some agency. That's the word I was looking for. You should have agency in deciding, I am declaring a war. This is what the war is for. And if my ally wants this in the war, and I say no, and the ally isn't willing to join in, that's fine. But I should see it and be able to say yes or no.
Construction complete.
Because this is not reality. This is not the real world. This is my little power fantasy. And my little power fantasy
Special project
is my power.
complete.
That would be a mess to implement. That would be a... You've just mowed this area twice. Why are you mowing it again? Wow. He literally just mowed over the same place he mowed. I swear they're scamming our apartment complex. So, yeah, that's an interesting idea that you got there. But, oh God, that is very similar to a system of contract management that a company I worked for wanted for their contracts, and it turned into a nightmare fast. Like, just yeah, the problem with that capture the flag, there's only 2 flags. You only have 2 teams, you only have 2 flags. Here you've got so many teams and all these individual flags. And these flags have so many different states, and those states need to fly in back and forth. Like, I can kind of see how you might implement such a thing, but as I said, I've had to program something very similar to what you're proposing, only instead of warfare and planets and, you know, what you're doing in terms of it, it was contracts and contract states and things like that. But the big problem that we ran into is it became next to impossible to debug. Very quickly, that system became impossible to debug. You'd get a bug, and it would take you weeks of pounding your head of multiple people pounding their heads against the wall to find out what was going wrong. Like, God, I would not... I can see why they wouldn't want to touch that sort of thing with a 10-foot pole. it would be a nightmare to debug. Yeah. So, but again, in King of the Hill, you have your different players, and you have one hill, or maybe multiple hills. And on the hill, you have a flag that represents the player, and a timer. And so it's relatively simple. The major problem we run here is you end up with your conquest, liberalization, vassalization, return options. All of those have ripple effects that go down the line.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
And those ripple effects just... God, that what you're talking about is terrifying from a programming perspective. I mean, you could do it, but it would be hell to debug. It would be hell to QA. It would be a nightmare. It would be a nightmare for everyone involved in the design. It would be cool as hell, but it would be a nightmare to design. And as much as I say, at their core, grand strategy games are war games, they're not only war games. They are also economic games and diplomatic games, and essentially the sort of system you're describing would require that we really be just a war game.
Construction
And
complete.
then what's the point of playing it? Why don't we play something like Warhammer Fleet's Armada type thing? Which is I forget the exact name of that game. The Warhammer 40k game that's all armadas in space. It's relatively new. It's kind of fun. Not my thing, but I go, yeah, this is pretty cool. I forget exactly what it's called, but yeah. I think that the system's real close to where it needs to be. It's just you need to define your claims more thoroughly, or even better, instead of doing your casus belli at the beginning. Is that it? I don't remember. I don't remember the name, so I don't know. It's relatively new. That might be it. It was cool. Gothic might be the name.
Construction complete.
But like, I don't know if you can hear that guy, but that one's close enough to bother me. I don't think it's close enough to distract you.
Planetary settlement procedure initiated.
Oh, we're running into influence issues. We're getting close to the point where we need to
Anomalous
simmer down with
surface
some of these
variable
guys.
detected.
We'll just have you simmer
Anomalous
down here
surface
for now.
variable detected.
We'll fill out down here before we consider again, because that'll give us kind of a core system. But yeah, it's not far from working. It's just very frustrating at times, and it's especially frustrating because it sounds like they've taken these
Technological acquisition successful.
bad aspects and said, well, that's how we want it to be, which is a little frustrating. It's okay. Robo-modding, yay! For the power. Also, let's put a good thing there. And you can have an uplink node.
Construction complete.
Okay. I should stop complaining. I enjoy complaining, but I'm sure it makes it obnoxious to listen to too much complaining. Especially when it's the same thing over and over again. I mean, I've made my concerns, I think, pretty straightforward. Although, what else am I going to commentate on? We're just exploring and colonizing. It does make sense, but it's really going to be a nightmare to debug, like from a programming perspective. You have to go to the place, you have to get the flag, you need to have the fleet there, the army there. It's, yeah. I think the war system they have now is close enough to being good that they can make it work just by shuffling a few things around. Two forces getting each other's way, even as... See, now, I hope you can see, Omnimech, I hope you can see that what you've just stated. The idea, I'm going to read it because I don't have chat on screen, so for the VOD. Omnimech is proposing, essentially, that warfare operate as you go in, you invade, and you need to leave your fleets or your armies in position to stabilize the region you've taken.
System survey.
And that having multiple armies or fleets in a region will slow that or halt that or cause the conflict to persist and continue over time. Which is not a bad way to do it. That's very much how a lot of real-world conflict works as we move forward in time. And even as allies, he says, you know, if I want the system, my ally wants the system, we're both there stabilizing it, we're going to get in each other's way and have this kind of Cold War thing going on behind the scenes. It's cool, it's realistic.
Anomalous surface variable.
But it's extremely... It would be extremely frustrating to program. And let's face it, it would be extremely frustrating to play. Because you know the AI is going to be stupid and start following your fleets, following your armies, and camping out there. Fuck you, dropped frames. And they're going to screw things up. They're going to follow you around and screw up your stabilization. Not out of malice, not out of strategy, but just out of being stupid AI.
System survey complete.
The stupid AI does that. So, it's not a bad... It's a cool idea. It's a very simulationist idea. But the AI is going to be dumb. The AI is going to be dumb, and it's not going to work very well. In a multiplayer game, it might work better, like if you had a multiplayer-only game. But, as I say, for most games, centering... Like, if you're... It's hard to say what I want to say. So, you know, there's games like Overwatch or Team Fortress where multiplayer is baked into the core. Games like Halo where it's baked into the core. Then you have on the other side games like this, games like Fallout, games like... what's another really good example? Oh, hi! Yeah! Screw my entire rant and my idea. We've met a fallen empire! It's a fallen empire. It's a real, honest-to-goodness fallen empire. And they're machines. Mwah. Mwah. Perfection. And you're one of the borders. Survey. Survey. Survey.
Technological acquisition successful.
I'm so happy. I'm rather happy.
Complete.
I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the better things that could happen, is having a machine fallen empire as a neighbor. Because they're not going to expand. They're not going to be in a race to grab all of this delicious land. These delicious primitives over here in their renaissance. Yeah. They don't plug it, but let's face it, the AI is not going to be jumping them. If a player were over here, a player might walk through and plug and do that, but yeah. This is just great. Which means I just have to worry about this direction. If I were playing humans, I'd be worried about, you know, grabbing this, but in practice it's fine. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, so what was I saying? For multiplayer considerations for a game like this.
Anomalous
Games like this and Fallout and like Cities Skylines, they are at their core single player games, in my opinion. And multiplayer is fun. Multiplayer Stellaris is fun. Multiplayer Europa Universalis is amazing. But you are going to play these games single player more than multiplayer. It's just the nature, how long they are, how people's lives are, scheduling issues. You're going to play them single player more than multiplayer. So, at the core, the single player game should be the thing that's of interest, which means you need to be thinking about what works for the AIs, what doesn't work for the AIs.
System survey complete.
And a system like what Omnimech is suggesting, where you have this sort of shuffling sense of current active control over a system, which is actually very similar to the counterinsurgency stuff that's in that coin series I mentioned earlier. So it is a cool, fun thing. But the AI would have to be really good at that, really good at knowing when they're stepping on a player's on toes or not, and choosing whether or not they, as an AI, want to step on their toes. Dropping frames. Again, I'm probably going to have to stop sooner than I wanted because of the internet being crap. That's fine. We'll be stopping on a high note. Hi, Kelbrind. But yeah, so because it's a single player sort of thing in the first place, that idea of a war system that will be wonderful in a multiplayer setting, but not so great in a single player, starts to fade away, starts to become something we maybe don't want. And I can send off more of these guys. I should send off more of these guys. I should not be dawdling just for the purpose of ranting. This is a place we can send makers. This is a place where we should send good things.
Construction complete.
This is a place where we should send good things. Okay. And you're done there, so you can go to Zempek, where we're almost ready. So, that's a good idea, and that comes back to my desire. I really want to play, like,
Anomalous surface
a grand strategy game set in the more modern era that uses as its core mechanics inspired by the coin series, but they would have that same problem of needing to track, control, and influence per region, per faction, and of AIs possibly getting in the way of one another. Now, in that case, because the central piece of this is really insurgency and counterinsurgency, it's not as terrible as it would be here, where your central idea is make the grand space empire. But it could still be very frustrating if the AI didn't get programmed right, or if some faction rule was misinstalled. And it could be very difficult to debug and find out what the heck's going on. And they're edging again in the same place that they edged before they mowed. I really do think these guys are charging by like the hour and conning the apartment complex. So I think you're gonna start helping this dude, right? Got so many anomalies. Oh no, they're not edging, they're blowing. Okay. So they're not doing the same thing again, it's just loud and obnoxious. What are we gonna want to put here? I kind of want to put a spare parts depot, even though it's not going to do much. We'll put an energy grid. Eventually I'll get the stuff there that we want. Yeah, perfect neighbor, doesn't expand. Stops the AI from coming through. And they're the ones sitting in the nebula. The only pity is that they are not likely to give us communications. Fallen empires never trade communications.
System survey complete. Construction complete.
Okay. And there you go.
Executing evasion protocols.
Haraxos, we've met Upsilon aliens in Haraxos, which is over here. What have we met here? Just some mining aliens, nothing to worry about. So wonderful knowing that this is all going to be open and free. This is going to be great. We've got a good start here. We've got a great start. I haven't exploited it properly because I've been too busy chatting and complaining and all that, but you know what? That's fine. Artisan troop, hello! I don't think we're quite in a position to afford you, but we can. I love this region too. Everything is going. Everything's coming up, Kit.
Special project complete.
Everything is so coming up, Kit. It's great.
Situation log adjusted.
Nah, we're not going to spend 46 months on that. Not yet. We don't need it.
System survey complete.
So the question is, do I want to roll my way up north and start grabbing all of this, or do I want to keep these two focused down here, gathering stuff this direction, where I know I'm going to run into somebody else down here eventually? Why have you been so slow? Well, it's not that you've been slow, it's the other guy. Yeah, the other guy's fast.
Construction complete.
That's what's going on. Money problems. That's unfortunate. I suppose you'll need to go down to Mothelium, but we should be fine on energy. We're losing a bit because of all these colony ships, but that's just a temporary affair. This will improve our energy credit production significantly. It's fine. We're doing well. We're doing well. We may not be the all-powerful people we were last time.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
Between two fallen empires could be a thing. One of the most fun games I had in 1.9, there was one of those times you got the hyperlane. I was playing hyperlanes, getting ready for 2.0. There's a hyperlane that came off here, and there was a cluster of 3 stars here with planets, and I started like right here, and I had those 3 planets, and you come out here, and there's a fallen empire. There's a fallen empire right there, blocking my way into the galaxy. I'm like, hello! So I've got these mechanists off in the corner, just building up, and then eventually I was strong enough to pound my way through the fallen empire and into the galaxy. And it was just like, hello, we're here, we have lots of science. Yeah. It was a time. It was certainly a
Planetary
time.
settlement procedure initiated.
Wonderful. We're going to lose even more money eventually because we're going to be getting all these things. But it's okay. We want these planets up so we can start improving, so we can start layering on them and improving them and all those goodies. Yeah. I think at this point I'm going to continue until I meet my southern neighbor, because my internet is getting spotty. I'm getting a bit, hungry. I'm feeling good about the start of this. I want to ride that wave of good to getting some paperwork done before depression inevitably returns and pins one down, unable to achieve anything productive. And then we'll go from there. Next stream will maybe be Friday.
Construction complete.
Resource replicators eat energy, dude. They don't help.
Complete.
But no, it's actual, like, depression. There's not going to be a stream tomorrow because tomorrow is the beginning of the treatment to actually treat the real, honest-to-goodness depression. Make that less of a thing. Sure, production targets is a nice edict. Resource reclaimers, there you go. I should build up some more stations and get that stuff on the go. Oh, you go to Travis, we ready.
Detected.
But yeah, unfortunately, in my real life, I do not have space stations to generate energy for me. So I just have to rely upon things. No, it ain't. It's frustrating, okay? It's a frustrating thing. It is a frustrating thing. Especially because, like, people think when you're depressed you're sad, but, like, I get the anger depression, the one where you...
Successful.
I would love to not piss you off, friend. That's going to be expensive. But yeah, getting ready, meet some people, handle that, get evaluated, determine whether or not drugs are required.
Planetary surface
The fact that we can tie my loss of my last 2 jobs directly to the depression is leading, like, the lawyer, my family's lawyer, to go, maybe you should get Social Security disability, and I'm like, that sounds like a scam, and, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Ideally, we can get this fixed, and I can get back to being productive, because that's what I love being, is productive.
System survey complete.
But we'll see how it goes. I shouldn't have clicked that. That's terrifying. So many anomalies. My poor, poor, overworked anomaly guy. You have so much to do. So much to do. Yeah, there won't be a stream tomorrow because that's all morning, and then in the afternoon it's too hot, and I've got other stuff I have to do tomorrow afternoon, and then maybe Friday morning there'll be a stream, but realistically I'm not going to get everything I need to get done on Thursday done, and so I'll have to do it on Friday morning.
Complete.
So I'd say expect next stream Monday if things go well. I don't stream. I've got a kids weekend, so it's no stream at all over the weekend. Unless my kids decide they want to stream, in which case it's probably going to be like 25 minutes before they get bored, and suffering for you.
Planetary settlement procedure initiated.
Because, it's kids. They're my kids. I love them. They're perfect angels that can do no wrong. They're not your kids, therefore they're hellish demons that you want to go away. That's how kids work, right? You hate everyone's kids except your own. Cool, we found dark matter. Where did we find dark matter? Binder. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Other people's children. Gah. Kill them all. But don't touch my children. And okay, I guess you need to leave some of the other people's children so my children can grow up and have friends and co-workers and enemies that they want to destroy and all that, fun stuff that makes life worth living. But, other people's children. My daughter has this friend who is in love with dogs. Like, they're all 8-year-olds, and you get this 8-year-old girl who's decided she just wants to be a dog. Which means that as soon as her mom's not there to say, you need to stand up straight, she goes down on all fours and goes, woof, woof, woof. And you're like, God, that's so annoying. And then my daughter stops down, and because they're friends, and does the same thing.
Complete.
And I go, oh, that's so... that's so cute. Because hypocrisy
complete.
is the core of parenting. It really is. Yeah, I'm not going to get Trappist properly colonized for a while, so we may as well build up everything. Gosh, I have a lot of space around me. Rather, that dude's really slow getting anywhere. I think I may just surrender for now and get on with my day. Not worry about finding the guy to my south. So, yeah, I've been Kit, the Great Gobbo Kit. Because goblins are the best creatures. This has been Good Things Incorporated. We are good things, we are incorporated, and you will be incorporated too. We've got some friends over here that made us super expensive, because, of course. And we're looking for friends down here, and hopefully away into the galaxy. Of course, I'm beginning to see how this is trending out, and I would not be surprised to find that this is accessible and empty, and there's nothing connecting over here. I also wouldn't be surprised to see a connection like around here, but it really would not be surprising to find that this whole affair is isolated, which would be cool. Yeah, I would not be surprised if that's the thing that happens with my daughter's friend, because my daughter's friend's parents are... My daughter's friend's parents are super There's like you got like a politician and like a news reporter, and they're all, my little daughter should be perfect. I wouldn't be surprised if they're under-socialized. My kids are under-socialized too, but they're together and they're chill with each other, and they're troublemakers. They got in trouble last year for literally running a loan shark operation in the 2nd grade, where they were apparently stealing money from me and my ex-wife, loaning it to other kids, and collecting it with like 50% interest using muscle from the 6th graders. And then putting back the money that they stole and keeping the excess for themselves. Like, I'm like, I have to punish you because this is terribly illegal and you're going to get in trouble if you do it as an adult, but I am so proud that you have shown this resourcefulness. But yeah, I have been the Great Gobbo Kit. This has been Good Things Incorporated. You will be incorporated too. And peace.